we worked on a
Or
farm. I
tr-
mean, we were out busting our tails, so we
Sure.
didn't have those things.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
kids do. And so that's why we're seeing sarcopenia in our teens. So it's
Wow. So they need to start moving. And even with, I guess we have PE still in school. Like, I'm wondering, or did, like, I'm assuming, I know my daughter-in-law, my future daughter-in-law as of next weekend is, well, probably by the time this show, she'll be my daughter-in-law, is a PE teacher. So they got to have it. They have it. It's just, I guess that little bit of 1 hour a day is not for a kid doing enough. They need to be able to do, they need to do
yeah,
more.
and there are a lot of studies that actually show that sedentary lifestyle above a certain point can basically negatively impact any type of exercise that you're trying to do through a day.
Oh,
Class, they're probably not exercising for that full hour. They may get 15 or 20 minutes of actual activity in a normal PE class, but they're getting 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 hours sometimes of sedentary activity. And that little small amount of physical activity cannot override the deleterious effects of all of that sedentary lifestyle. So
that's true. That's true. Didn't think about it that way, but you're right. They're in class the whole time, the whole day. Then they go home and just sit and do their homework or play on video games or vice versa. You're right. When you look the hours, it's not enough. Definitely. So I do feel like with the sarcopenia, and you're saying that they don't have a prescription, they don't have a way to fix that. So we just need to move more. But then there's also things that are making our body lose muscle, and like these new drugs that everybody's taking to lose weight. We're actually losing a lot of muscle from this, So that the products that we have, we're trying to help them combat this weight loss. Or, I'm sorry, not really the weight loss, the muscle loss. The weight loss is fine, but it needs to come from fat and not from muscle. And the only way to do that is just to work on rebuilding this protein synthesis. And so you can maybe go through those for me and kind of explain to me like what we want to use so that we can keep our muscle, as long as possible.
right. Well, the goal with our program that we discuss within Make Wellness is essentially a rebalancing of our body composition. And that's really important because a lot of times when you're on one of the GLP-1s or the GLP-2s, the new second generations, then what has actually happened, and some studies are actually indicating that you're losing as much as 40% of the weight that you lose in muscle mass. So that gets to be a little bit concerning. But the other side
Mm-hmm.
of it, and I'm even, as concerned about is the micronutrient deficiencies that we're seeing. We're actually seeing an increase in scurvy. So, which is vitamin C deficiency, something we haven't seen in 100 years in
Years.
this country, right?
Right.
So all of a sudden we're seeing instances of scurvy, beriberi, different, nutrient deficiency diseases that you would not have expected to see with the types and amounts and quantities of food that we consume today, but we're seeing it, right?
Yeah.
So when you're talking about the GLP-1, you get rapid weight loss, and which in my mind is not sustainable. It's not maintainable. It leads to all kinds of side effects if it's not done right. I personally don't think that people respect them enough because I have actually, and I could tell you a story on a very close family member of mine that I just literally had this conversation with last week, that was on a GLP-1. She had lost 55 pounds in 4 months. But the problem was her hair was falling out in clumps. And so that's one of the side effects of rapid weight loss, because not only is your body trying to eliminate muscle to preserve energy, your body eliminates hair because hair is metabolically expensive as well. So hair and muscle are the first two things that are gone when your body goes into this fight mechanism. And I mean, it's just fight or flight, I should say. But that fight or flight, I mean, it is devastating to the body. But that 55 pounds in 4 months is not a sustainable or maintainable method of losing weight because it's going to come back. And it had. So she
Yeah.
had so many side effects. She had gotten off the drugs and she had already gained back, plus, some of the weight that she had lost. The problem was when it comes back, the muscle doesn't come back. It's all fat. So you've lost 40% of the weight that you lost. So 40% of 55 is about 20 pounds. So she lost 20 pounds, but she's gained back 60. Well, guess what she gained back? 60.
Okay.
So her
Yeah.
body composition rebalanced more to the pro fat side than it did to the pro
Mm,
muscle side. So her metabolism was destroyed. Her hair was falling out. She was having all kinds of side effects. So that is the devastating impact of GLP-1s when they're not respected properly. So this doctor should have been looking for the lowest effective dose instead of just automatically starting her on a 12 milligram dose and hitting her that hard that fast. And I realize she's obese, but she didn't get obese overnight. So why lose it overnight? If we can lose, a pound a week or maybe a pound and a half a week or something like that, that's okay. Your body can maintain that. But it's devastating to people when they lose that much weight that fast because when it comes back and that rebound will occur, it's coming back with a vengeance. So,
yeah. And I do feel like so I know I started this whole journey with synthetic peptides. That was what I was going to start doing, mostly for anti-inflammatory for my patients, TMJ, sleep problems. And then, of course, some of it is if they're overweight, they're not sleeping right. So that was some of it too. And the GLP-1, I found a lot of people were on it and had no idea why. I mean, they knew why. Like, I'm going to lose weight. But there was no education behind it. They were just getting thrown the drug or getting it online. I don't know wherever it was. The education behind it is the biggest problem. I feel like the drug is a good drug when used properly and for the right reasons, right? Like there's a reason for everything. You use everything, but it has to be used properly. And I think, this became kind of more like I hate to say it, but like a money game for some people where they were just money grab and where they're like, yeah, this is, and who doesn't want to be thin? It's like, it's so common. But if we don't educate them on how to use it, if we don't educate them on changing their habits, adding the protein in and doing the strength training and not just thinking, I'm going to sit down, eat bonbons, eat McDonald's, and it does still go away, but it is going to come back. It is going to come back bad. But they don't know that. So a lot of it is the education process for all of that, needs to be, there's education on how to use it and there's education on what to do to when you get off of it to make it better. So my big thing was the pairing. Like as soon as I started this, it was all about pairing. It was like, if you're going to be on this, you have to take this. There were non-negotiables for me with my patients. Or if you're going to be on any of these things, fit is a non-negotiable. You've got to keep some kind of muscle. And then here's some exercise things here to do. Here's some, nutrition things to do. I have access to, my son is a personal trainer who is a crazy food prepper and protein person. So it's like, look, if you need somebody to talk to, try to give everybody the tools, but it's really hard. Most people want instant gratification and they want to do nothing for something, and you can get something for nothing, but you're going to have to give it back. It's not going to be, so I do feel like that's, where I really love the natural peptides because I do try to also tell people that to try to titrate down as much as possible and then try to get off and just go to our lean products, which we'll talk about the products for sure. But I do feel like that we've got a way to help people, but they also have to help themselves and they have to want to be helped. When they're losing the weight, it's all fun games until they have to get off of it.